The alarm screaming through the Galactic Military Academy's monitoring station sounded like someone was strangling a Vexorian swamp beast, which honestly would have been more pleasant than the actual situation unfolding on the security feeds. Lieutenant Braxx slammed three of his four fists against the console, trying to silence the god's forsaken noise. His species, the Korthax, were known across 17 sectors for their legendary patience and calm demeanor under pressure. Right now, Braxx was about 3 seconds away from ripping the entire control panel out of the wall and launching it into the nearest sun. "Someone tell me what in the 17 hells is happening in Training Chamber 42, he roared, his mandibles clicking in agitation. "And why are the structural integrity sensors having a complete meltdown?" Ensign Tyvix, a nervous little prill who barely reached Brax's knee, scurried over with a datapad clutched in his tiny claws. "Sir, according to the readouts, something has entered Chamber 42 without proper authorization codes. The automated safety protocols are attempting to shut down the gravity multiplier, but the intruder has apparently overridden the emergency systems." "Overridden? How is that even possible? Those systems are triple encrypted with military-grade security." "I have no explanation, sir, but the chamber is currently operating at 8.5 G and climbing. Whatever is inside should be liquefied by now, yet the motion sensors indicate continued movement and, sir, you are not going to believe this, cardiovascular activity consistent with moderate exercise." Brax's three eyes narrowed dangerously. "Moderate exercise? At 8G? What kind of creature are we dealing with? Did someone let a Gormath Titan into the facility? Because if the zoology department has lost another experimental specimen, I swear by the ancestors I will personally feed them to it." "No, sir. The biological scanner identifies the intruder as, human." There was a long pause. The kind of pause that occurs when someone's brain encounters information so fundamentally wrong that it needs to completely reboot its understanding of reality. "Human," Braxx repeated slowly, as if testing the word for poison. "You are telling me that a human, those squishy little primates from that nowhere planet in the Sol system, is currently exercising in a chamber designed to train warriors from worlds where gravity would crush a transport shuttle?" "Yes, sir. That is exactly what I am telling you." "Show me." Tyvix manipulated the controls and the main view screen flickered to life. The image showed the interior of Chamber 42, a massive facility that looked more like a gladiatorial arena than a training room. Reinforced walls capable of withstanding weapons fire. Floor plating designed to support creatures weighing literal tons. Environmental controls that could simulate everything from volcanic heat to absolute zero. And in the center of all that engineered brutality, there was a human female jogging in lazy circles like she was enjoying a pleasant morning in the park. She was small by galactic standards, maybe 5 feet 6 inches in human measurements, with dark hair pulled back in what their cultural database called a ponytail. She wore simple exercise clothing, nothing that suggested military armor or protective equipment. Just fabric, regular everyday fabric that should have been compressed into diamond by the gravity pressing down on her. Braxx watched in stunned silence as she jogged past one of the chamber's internal sensors. Her pace was steady, relaxed even. Her breathing appeared normal. She looked like someone enjoying a casual workout, not someone being crushed under 8.5 times normal gravity. "What is her heart rate?" Braxx asked quietly. Tyvix consulted his datapad. "Approximately 120 beats per minute, sir. Elevated but well within normal parameters for human cardiovascular activity. In fact, according to the medical database, this is consistent with what humans call light jogging." "Light jogging? At 8.5 G, where the air itself weighs enough to collapse lungs?" "Apparently so, sir." Braxx leaned closer to the screen, his analytical mind trying to find some rational explanation for what his eyes were showing him. Humans were not known for physical prowess. They were Category 3, for ancestors' sake. Fragile, weak, prone to injury from the most minor of incidents. The Korthax, Brax's own species, evolved on a world with 2.3 G. It had taken his people millennia to adapt, developing enhanced bone density and redundant organ systems. Even then, 8G would kill a Korthax in minutes. The blood would pool in the extremities, the heart would fail trying to pump against impossible pressure, the skeleton would begin to fracture under its own weight. But this human? She just kept jogging, like gravity was a suggestion rather than a fundamental force of the universe. How long has she been in there? Braxx demanded. 17 minutes and counting, sir. The chamber's automated timer shows she entered at 0600 hours exactly. She overrode the security protocols within 45 seconds, manually adjusted the gravity settings, and has been exercising ever since. 17 minutes at 8G would kill anything that is not specifically adapted for high-gravity environments. Even the Krillax shock troops, who train in this chamber regularly, can only manage 20-minute sessions at 6G for requiring medical intervention. I am aware, sir, which is why I activated the emergency alert and contacted you immediately. Braxx tapped his primary fingers against the console, a nervous habit from his youth that he had never quite managed to suppress. Has she communicated with anyone? Made demands? Explained what she is doing? No, sir. According to the audio monitors, she has not spoken at all. Although, approximately 4 minutes ago, she did laugh. Laughed? Yes, sir. A brief vocalization lasting 3.2 seconds. Analysis suggests amusement rather than distress. She is laughing while jogging. At 8G. Braxx felt a headache forming behind his middle eye. Right. Contact security. I want a full tactical team assembled outside Chamber 42 within 5 minutes. Heavy weapons, energy shields, the works. If this human is some kind of enhanced super soldier, I want to be prepared for anything. Already done, sir. Captain Vorn's team is en route now. ETA 2 minutes. Good. Also, get me everything in the database about human physiology. I want to know if there is any possible explanation for what I am seeing that does not involve either massive equipment failure or a fundamental rewriting of physics. Tivix's claws flew across his datapad. Accessing Galactic Species Database now. Human entry, subsection physiology. Let me see, average mass 65 kilograms, average height 1.7 meters. Homeworld gravity 1G standard, no natural armor, no enhanced musculature, no specialized adaptations for extreme environments, susceptible to a frankly embarrassing number of diseases and injuries. Lifespan approximately 80 solar cycles. Notable for being one of the few species to actively enjoy ingesting toxic compounds for recreational purposes, classified as persistence hunters, which means they are notable for absolutely pathetic sprint speed, but can maintain steady movement for extended periods. And, oh, this is interesting. What? There is a note here from the xenobiology department. It says, and I quote, humans are significantly more durable than initial assessment suggests. Recommend caution when making assumptions about physical limitations. Multiple incidents reported of humans surviving conditions that should have resulted in immediate termination. Further study recommended, end quote. Further study recommended, Braxx muttered. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. The science division makes a note that humans might be tougher than expected, and nobody thought to mention this before one of them decided to go jogging in our heavy gravity training facility. The view screen showed the human completing another lazy circuit of the chamber. She still looked comfortable, relaxed even. As she passed another sensor, she checked something on her wrist, a small device that appeared to be monitoring her biological functions. She studied it for a moment, nodded to herself, then adjusted her pace slightly. She started running faster. No, Braxx said. No, absolutely not. Tell me she is not accelerating. She is accelerating, sir. Current speed now at approximately 12 kilometers per hour. That is a full run by human standards. At 8.5 G. Yes, sir. Where physics says she should be a puddle. Correct, sir. Braxx made a decision. He opened the facility-wide communication channel, his voice broadcasting through every speaker in the academy. Attention all personnel. We have a potential security situation in Training Sector 7. All students and non-essential staff are to evacuate the area immediately. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. Clear the sector now. Throughout the massive military academy, beings of 100 different species looked up from their training, their studies, their meals. Alarm klaxons began wailing. Emergency lights bathed corridors in red. Within 90 seconds, the entire sector was empty, except for security personnel taking up defensive positions. Captain Vorn arrived at the monitoring station with his tactical team, 8 of the most dangerous warriors the Academy could field. They carried weapons capable of stopping a charging battle tank. Their armor could withstand plasma fire. They had trained for scenarios involving rogue war machines, terrorist attacks, and interdimensional incursions. They had not trained for a human jogging in a gravity chamber. "Lieutenant Braxx," Vorn said crisply, his voice filtered through his helmet's vocoder. "Situation report. We have an unauthorized individual in Chamber 42, Braxx explained, gesturing at the view screen. Human female, identity unknown, has been exercising in 8+G for nearly 20 minutes now. She overrode security protocols to gain access and has not responded to any communication attempts." Vorn studied the screen, his tactical implants analyzing the situation. "That should not be possible. Human physiology cannot withstand those conditions. And yet, understood. My team will enter the chamber and apprehend the intruder. Non-lethal force only unless the situation escalates. Do we have any intelligence on potential weapons or equipment? Sensors show no weapons, no armor, no mechanical augmentation beyond what appears to be a basic fitness monitoring device. She is, by all appearances, completely unenhanced. Which means she is either lying, we are missing something, or the universe has decided to stop making sense. My bet is on option 1, Vorn signaled his team. Standard entry formation. Expect the unexpected. Remember, humans are tricky little creatures. Just because they look harmless does not mean they are." The tactical team moved toward Chamber 42's entrance with professional efficiency. Their movements were coordinated, their weapons ready, their formation perfect. They had done this hundreds of times in training and dozens of times in actual combat situations. Braxx watched through the monitors as Vorn keyed in his command override code. The massive blast door separating the chamber from the corridor began sliding open with a hydraulic hiss. The moment it opened wide enough, the gravity field would extend outward, catching anyone in the entrance. The door opened, and 3 members of Vorn's team immediately collapsed as 8G of gravitational force tried to turn their internal organs into paste. "Fall! Back!" Vorn roared, grabbing 2 of his fallen soldiers and dragging them backward. "Fall back now!" The remaining team members scrambled away from the door, their powered armor straining under the immense pressure. 2 more warriors went down before they cleared the gravity field's range. The blast door, sensing the emergency, automatically sealed itself again. Inside the chamber, visible on the monitors, the human had stopped running. She was looking toward the entrance, her expression mildly curious. Then she shrugged, checked her wrist device again, and resumed jogging. She had not even broken stride. Captain Vorn staggered back to the monitoring station, supporting one of his injured teammates. "What in the name of the void was that?" The briefing said 8G. "My armor is rated to handle up to 4G without compromising mobility." Braxx checked the sensors. The chamber is now at 9.2G and still climbing. She has been gradually increasing the intensity. Current projections suggest she is planning to reach 10G within the next 5 minutes. 10G? Nothing survives 10G. Even the Krillax can barely function at that level. Apparently, she did not receive that memo. Medics rushed forward to attend to the injured security team members. Fortunately, their armor had protected them from the worst of it, but they would still need several hours in regeneration tanks. The brief exposure had caused massive internal bruising and temporary organ dysfunction. Meanwhile, on the view screen, the human completed another circuit of the chamber. Her pace had slowed slightly as the gravity increased, but only slightly. She still looked like someone enjoying a morning workout rather than someone being slowly crushed by forces that should have killed her 10 times over. Braxx pulled up the human's entry records in the Academy database. "Okay, let me see who we are dealing with. Accessing student files now. Human female, approximate age 26 solar cycles, entered the Academy 3 months ago as part of the Terran Federation's new military exchange program. Name is, let me pronounce this correctly, Lieutenant Jade Morrison. Specialty listed as Endurance Training and Extreme Environment Operations. Previous assignment was something called the Terra Special Forces, which apparently specializes in operations under hostile conditions." "Endurance training," Vorn repeated. "You think this is training? What else would it be? She is not attacking anyone. not attempting to sabotage anything. She is just exercising, granted in a way that violates every known principle of biology, but still. We need to establish communication. Find out what she wants. Agreed. Braxx activated the chamber's internal communication system. Lieutenant Morrison, this is Lieutenant Braxx of Academy Security. Can you hear me? Inside the chamber, the human touched something near her ear. When she spoke, her voice came through surprisingly clear, given the environmental conditions. Oh, good. Someone finally decided to talk to me instead of just staring through the monitors. Yes, I can hear you perfectly fine. Her tone was casual, friendly even, like they were having a conversation over a meal rather than through a communication system while she defied the fundamental laws of physics. Lieutenant Morrison, Braxx continued carefully, you are currently in a restricted training area without proper authorization. The conditions inside that chamber are extremely dangerous. We need you to shut down the gravity multiplier and exit immediately. Dangerous? Oh, you mean the gravity thing? Yeah, I noticed. It is a bit heavier than what I am used to, but nothing terrible. I have trained in worse. Braxx felt his headache intensify. Lieutenant, the current gravity level is 9.4 G. That is 9 times the standard galactic baseline. At that level, your blood should not be able to circulate properly. Your bones should be fracturing. Your organs should be failing. You should, to be blunt, be dead. There was a pause, then Morrison laughed. Actually laughed. The sound was bright and genuine, completely at odds with the situation. Oh, that is adorable. You guys really do not know much about human physiology, do you? We know that humans are Category 3 species, fragile, unsuited for extreme conditions. Yeah, about that categorization. Might want to revise your database. Humans are a lot tougher than we look. Our homeworld might only have 1 G, but we evolved as persistence hunters. Do you know what that means? The database mentions something about sustained movement. It means we are built to just keep going, forever. We might not be the fastest or the strongest, but we do not quit. Our cardiovascular system is absurdly efficient. Our cooling system is ridiculous. We can regulate our body temperature through sweating, which pretty much no other species does effectively. Our bones are dense. Our muscles are packed with slow twitch fibers, designed for endurance rather than explosive power. We are basically biological machines designed to outlast anything that tries to kill us. That does not explain how you are functioning at 9G. Sure it does. See, human muscles are not just for movement, they are also structural support. When you increase gravity, my muscles compensate by working harder to maintain posture and movement. It is tiring, sure, but totally manageable. Think of it as strength training with the intensity turned way up. This is honestly pretty similar to some of the conditioning exercises we do back home. Braxx looked at Captain Vorn. Vorn looked back. Neither of them had any idea what to say. Lieutenant Morrison, Braxx tried again, even if everything you are saying is true, and I want to be clear that it sounds absolutely insane, you still entered a restricted area without authorization. That is a serious violation of Academy regulations. Oh yeah, totally my bad on that one. I tried to book the chamber through proper channels, but the system kept rejecting my requests. Something about humans not being cleared for heavy gravity training. So I figured I would just pop in early before anyone else showed up and get my workout done. Honestly, did not think it would be such a big deal. Not a big deal. You caused a facility-wide emergency. Did I? Sorry about that. Look, I will wrap this up in about 10 more minutes. I am almost done with my cool-down routine anyway. Then I will file all the proper paperwork and we can forget this whole thing happened. Sound good? Before Braxx could respond, the gravity readings spiked. 10 G. The chamber had reached 10 times standard gravity. Morrison's pace slowed noticeably. Her breathing became more labored, visible even through the grainy monitor feed. But she kept moving, kept jogging, one foot in front of the other, around and around the chamber. Actually, she said between breaths, this is kind of nice. Good resistance. Really feeling the burn in my quads. You guys should advertise this place better. I bet a lot of humans would pay good money for access to equipment like this. And then, because apparently the universe had decided that Braxx had not suffered enough today, Lieutenant Jade Morrison started doing jumping jacks at 10G. Her form was perfect, her rhythm steady. She counted out loud as she went, her voice strained but determined. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am going to need so much therapy after today, Braxx muttered. Captain Vorn just nodded silently, his tactical computer having apparently given up trying to analyze the situation and defaulted to displaying an error message. On the view screen, the human continued exercising. At 10G, like it was just another morning, just another workout, just another day of being biologically impossible. And Braxx realized with cold certainty that everything the Galactic Military Academy thought it knew about humans was catastrophically, dangerously wrong. This was going to require so many incident reports. 27 minutes later, Lieutenant Jade Morrison finally decided she was done with her morning workout. She tapped something on her wrist device, and the gravity chamber began powering down with a mechanical whine that sounded almost disappointed to Braxx's ears. 10G dropped to 9, then 8, then 7. The countdown continued until the chamber settled back at standard 1G, and Morrison walked toward the exit like absolutely nothing unusual had just happened. The blast doors opened. She stepped through, wiping sweat from her forehead with a small towel she had apparently brought with her. Her breathing was elevated but controlled. Her posture relaxed. She looked exactly like someone who had just finished a pleasant morning run, not someone who had been exercising under conditions that should have pulverized her skeleton. Captain Vorn and his tactical team had their weapons raised, though Braxx noticed their hands were shaking slightly. Hard to blame them. They had just watched something that rewrote their understanding of biology. Whoa, whoa! Morrison raised both hands in a placating gesture, though she was smiling. Easy there, folks. I know I bent some rules, but pointing those plasma rifles at me seems a bit excessive. I am unarmed, see? Just me and my workout gear. Lieutenant Morrison, Vorn said, his voice tight with professional control. You are under arrest for unauthorized access to restricted facilities, tampering with military equipment, and willfully defying the laws of physics in a manner that causes mental distress to security personnel. Morrison laughed again. That same bright, genuine laugh that made Braxx want to throw something heavy at a wall. Okay, fair enough. I did break into your gravity room. My bad. But in my defense, your security was laughably easy to bypass. I mean, you guys use the same encryption standard as the vending machines in the cafeteria. You hacked our security? Braxx sputtered. The triple encrypted military-grade security that cost the Academy 14 million credits to install? Oh, was it expensive? Sorry about that. Yeah, it took me maybe 30 seconds. Human cryptography is a bit more advanced. Our AI wars kind of forced us to develop really robust security protocols. Long story, lots of explosions, nearly ended our civilization. But hey, we learned some neat computer tricks. She said it so casually, like nearly ending her civilization was just an interesting footnote rather than a catastrophic historical event. Right, Vorn said slowly. Hands behind your head, fingers interlaced. We are going to escort you to the detention facility until this gets sorted out. Can I shower first? I am super sweaty, and I would hate to stink up your nice holding cell. No, move, now! Morrison shrugged and complied, allowing the security team to surround her. They maintained careful distance, weapons ready, treating her like an explosive device that might detonate at any moment. Braxx could not blame them for the caution. After what they had witnessed, who knew what else this human was capable of? The walk to the detention facility took them through the main academic corridor. Despite the evacuation order, word had spread fast and students were gathering at safe distances to watch the commotion. Braxx could hear the whispered conversations, the shocked exclamations, the disbelief. They passed a group of Krillax cadets, the massive warriors who normally trained in Chamber 42. One of them, a particularly large specimen named Grack, who stood nearly 11 feet tall and weighed close to 1,300 pounds, stepped forward. Excuse me, Grack rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. Is it true? Did this small human actually use our chamber? Stand back, cadet, Vorn ordered. This is security business. I mean no disrespect, Captain, but we heard the reports. Heard that she trained at 10G for extended periods. How can something so small accomplish what we cannot? Morrison looked up at the towering Krillax warrior. She had to crane her neck at an almost comical angle just to make eye contact. No offense, big guy, but you are built for power, not endurance. Your species evolved on a high-gravity world, sure, but you developed massive frames and dense musculature to handle it. That is great for short bursts of strength, but it makes sustained activity harder. She gestured to herself. Humans are built different. We are small, yeah, but we are efficient. Low body mass, highly developed cardiovascular system, excellent heat dissipation. We might not be able to lift as much as you, but we can keep going long after you would collapse from exhaustion. Grack considered this, his massive brow furrowing in thought. You are saying that being smaller is an advantage? In certain situations? Absolutely. Size isn't everything. Sometimes being the scrappy underdog works out pretty well. Fascinating. I would very much like to train with you sometime. Learn your techniques. Sure thing. Once your security team stops pointing guns at me, we should totally do a workout together. I will show you some human endurance exercises. Fair warning, though, they are brutal. We have this thing called a marathon, 26.2 miles of running. Just running. Humans do it for fun. For fun? Grack looked genuinely disturbed. Your species runs for 26 miles recreationally? Oh, yeah. And some crazy people do ultra-marathons. Those are like 50 or 100 miles. In the desert. For fun. We are a weird species. The security team hustled Morrison away before she could corrupt any more impressionable cadets. They reached the detention facility, a secure building designed to hold criminals and foreign operatives. The processing officer, a prill named Skitch, looked up from his desk as they entered. His compound eyes widened when he saw Morrison. A human? We are detaining a human? What did she do? Forget to file paperwork? She hacked into Chamber 42 and spent half an hour exercising at gravities that should have liquefied her organs, Braxx explained. Skitch stared. I am sorry, I think I heard you wrong. Did you say exercising? Jogging, running, jumping jacks at 10G. That is not possible. And yet, right, okay, sure, why not? Skitch pulled up the detention protocols on his computer. Standard processing then. Lieutenant Morrison, please empty your pockets and remove any jewelry or accessories. Morrison pulled out her wrist device, the small towel, and a protein bar wrapper. That is everything. Oh, and my earpiece for communications. As Skitch processed her belongings, Morrison looked around the detention facility with open curiosity. Nice place you got here. Very clean. Is the food any good? You are being detained for criminal activity, Vorn pointed out. This is not a hotel. I know, but I am going. To be here for a while, right? Do you guys have a gym? Please tell me there is a gym. I need to maintain my conditioning routine. Braxx felt his headache, which had briefly subsided, come roaring back with a vengeance. You just spent half an hour in a gravity chamber. You cannot possibly need more exercise. That was cardio. I still need to do my strength training. Upper body day. Cannot skip upper body day. You are literally under arrest. Yeah, but I am still on active military duty, which means I am required to maintain physical readiness standards. So unless you want me filing a formal complaint about being prevented from fulfilling my service obligations, you should probably give me access to exercise equipment. Cell 7, Skitch said weakly. It has a pull-up bar. That is the best I can offer. Perfect, I can work with that. Pull-ups, push-ups, planks, maybe some burpees. Good stuff. They escorted her to Cell 7, a small but clean room with a cot, a hygiene station, and yes, a pull-up bar mounted near the ceiling. Morrison immediately tested it, jumping up and doing 3 quick pull-ups before Vorn could stop her. Solid construction, she said approvingly. Nice grip too. You guys do good work. Please stop doing pull-ups and sit down, Vorn ordered. Right, sorry. Morrison sat on the cot, still looking entirely too cheerful for someone under arrest. So what happens now? Do I get a trial? Your commanding officer is already being notified, Braxx said, as is the Terran Federation Embassy. This incident has diplomatic implications. Oh man, Commander Phillips is going to be so mad at me. This is like the 4th time this month I have caused an incident. 4th time? Braxx repeated faintly. Yeah, I am not great with alien customs yet. Still learning. But hey, I always mean well. That has to count for something, right? Before Braxx could respond, his communicator chirped urgently. He checked the display and felt his circulatory fluids freeze. Oh no! What? Vorn asked. Director Kavalix wants to see me. Immediately, in his office. Along with a human. Morrison perked up. Am I meeting the big boss? Should I be nervous? You should be terrified, Braxx muttered. Director Kavalix is not known for his patience or his mercy. 10 minutes later, they were standing in Director Kavalix's office, a massive room filled with military commendations, trophies from various conflicts, and enough weapons mounted on the walls to outfit a small army. Kavalix himself was behind his desk, all 6 of his sensory stalks focused intently on Morrison. Lieutenant Morrison, Kavalix said, his voice modulator set to maximum formality. Do you understand the severity of what you have done? Unauthorized facility access, sir. I take full responsibility. It was wrong, and I apologize. Unauthorized access. You hacked our security, infiltrated a restricted training area, operated dangerous equipment without supervision, and performed physical activities that should have killed you. And your response is a simple apology? I mean, I could write an essay about it if that would help. Kavalix's stalks quivered. Lieutenant, in my 40 years of military service, I have encountered countless species, witnessed battles across dozens of worlds, and thought I understood the fundamental limits of biological possibility. Then you walked into my academy and broke every assumption I held. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, sir? I have not decided yet. Kavalix tapped controls on his desk, and a holographic display appeared showing data from Chamber 42. These are your biometric readings during your workout. Heart rate, blood pressure, oxygen saturation, all perfectly normal for a human engaged in moderate exercise. Yet you were operating at 10G. Do you understand how impossible that is? With respect, sir, it is only impossible if you assume human physiology works like other species. We are different, really, really different. Explain. Morrison stood straighter, her casual demeanor shifting into something more professional. Humans evolved on a planet with 1G, yes. But our evolutionary history was brutal, sir. We had to compete with creatures bigger, faster, and stronger than us. So we developed advantages they did not have. Endurance, intelligence, adaptability. She gestured to herself. Take thermoregulation. Most species cool down through panting or radiation. Humans sweat. We excrete water through our skin, which evaporates and carries heat away. It is incredibly efficient. We can run for hours in heat that would kill most creatures. Our ancestors literally hunted prey by chasing them until they collapsed from exhaustion. That seems cruel, Kavalix observed. Nature is cruel, sir. Survival is cruel. But it made us tough. Our bones are self-repairing. Our muscles adapt to stress by getting stronger. We can survive injuries that would be fatal to other species. We have this thing called shock, where our bodies basically override pain signals to keep us functioning during emergencies. We are survival machines. And the gravity resistance? Training, sir. Human militaries have been using increased gravity for conditioning for generations. We have centrifuges, weighted vests, resistance equipment. Most humans could not do what I did, I will admit that freely. But Special Forces personnel? We train for exactly these kinds of extreme conditions. It is what we do. Kavalix was silent for a long moment. You are telling me that your military intentionally creates soldiers capable of operating in environments that would kill normal members of your species? Yes, sir. That is exactly what I'm telling you. And this is considered normal in human culture? Well, not normal. Special forces are less than 1% of our military. But yeah, we have always believed in pushing boundaries, testing limits. We climbed mountains because they were there. We sailed across oceans not knowing what was on the other side. We went to space before we had any business being there. We do not really do impossible very well. We prefer to think of it as not yet accomplished. Kavalix made a sound that might have been a laugh. Your species terrifies me, Lieutenant. You terrify me specifically, but I am also impressed. Grudgingly, resentfully impressed, but impressed nonetheless. Thank you, sir. Do not thank me yet. You still broke regulations. However, I am willing to offer you a deal. You will not be prosecuted for your unauthorized access. In exchange, you will conduct a series of training seminars demonstrating human endurance techniques. You will share your methods, your strategies, your physiology. You will help us understand how humans accomplish what you accomplish. Morrison's eyes lit up. You want me to teach classes? I want you to expand our understanding of what is possible. Agreed? Absolutely, sir. This is going to be so much fun. Can I use Chamber 42 for demonstrations? Oh, and can we do a field trip? I bet a lot of cadets would benefit from a nice long run, maybe 15 miles or so, through rough terrain. This is going to be amazing. Braxx watched as Director Gvalek's expression shifted from authoritative to vaguely concerned. Dismissed, Kavalek said. Lieutenant Braxx, please escort Morrison back to her quarters. And Lieutenant Morrison, stay out of restricted areas without permission. Yes, sir. Scout's honor. As they left the office, Morrison was practically bouncing with excitement. This is the best day ever. I get to teach aliens about human fitness. Do you think they will be ready for burpees? Oh man, I cannot wait to introduce them to burpees. Braxx silently prayed to whatever ancestors might be listening. They had thought Morrison jogging at 10G was the peak of impossibility. He had the terrible suspicion they had not seen anything yet. 3 weeks later, the academy was transformed. Morrison's training seminars had become legendary, attracting students from every species. Her methods were brutal, unconventional, and somehow effective. Cadets who thought they had reached their physical limits discovered reserves they did not know existed. The human approach to fitness, it turned out, was not about being the strongest or the fastest. It was about being relentless, about refusing to quit, about pushing through pain and exhaustion until the impossible became merely difficult and the difficult became routine. Braxx watched from the observation deck as Morrison led a mixed species group through Chamber 42. She had them at 3G, enough to challenge but not injure. They were running, all of them, around the chamber in formation. A Krillax warrior, a Vril scientist, a Korthax soldier, and a dozen others, all following the tiny human who jogged backward while shouting encouragement. Come on, people, pick up the pace. Remember, pain is just weakness leaving the body. Who is weak? Nobody. Who is strong? We are. Now give me 10 more laps. They obeyed somehow. Despite the gravity, despite the exhaustion, despite every instinct screaming at them to stop. They kept going because she kept going, because she made them believe they could. Captain Vorn joined Braxx at the window. I owe you an apology. For what? For thinking humans were harmless, for underestimating them. Morrison has taught me something important. It is not about size or strength or natural weapons. It is about spirit, about will. Humans have that in abundance. They certainly do, Braxx agreed, though I still maintain that they are absolutely insane. That too. Down in the chamber, Morrison finished the session and dismissed her exhausted students. As they limped away to recover, she immediately started doing push-ups, because of course she did. Braxx's communicator chirped. It was a message from Galactic Command. He read it and felt something like pride warm his chest. What is it? Vorn asked. Official commendation for Lieutenant Morrison. Her training methods have been so successful that Command wants to implement them across all military academies. They are calling it the Terran Endurance Protocol. She is being promoted and assigned as a permanent instructor. She is going to be impossible to live with now. Oh, absolutely, but she earned it. In Chamber 42, Morrison finished her push-ups and started on pull-ups. Just another morning, just another workout, just another human doing the impossible and making it look easy. The galaxy was slowly learning what Earth had known for millennia. Humans might not be the biggest or the strongest or the fastest, but they never ever quit, and that made them the most dangerous species of all. Before we jump into the chaos, don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss the next adventure.
Welcome viewers, you are watching HFI Protocol and my name is Amir.